Do you have a dog voice? How do you greet Ophelia?
Did you have a good sleepers? Did you go to sleep? I went to the city today and had some good worker. Like, it's always an S on the end, and like, and you're gonna have
That's so cute.
snoozers, and you're gonna sleep. I talk to her sort of like, I'm like, good morning. How are you? That's my voice for her.
I love that. Welcome to Unconditional. I am so excited about today's guest. I love her. We had such a lovely conversation. She's an incredible actress, a wonderful dog mom. We talk all about Opie, her dog, and also go see her movie, Queen of the Ring. She is incredible. The story is incredible. Opie is incredible. Please enjoy. Oh my God, I need to know everything. So,
Yeah, she's
hi,
my
baby
baby.
girl. Hello.
And she's sleeping in a little deaf now. So
Okay. Hi, Ophelia. You probably can't hear me, but you're beautiful. Hello. Okay. Okay. So, Emily, first
yes.
off, so nice. Thank you so much for doing this.
This is awesome. I can't wait to chat about my baby.
Yay. Okay. Let's start at the beginning with pets. I also like in both, we also have to talk about your movie because that is the coolest thing ever. You're playing Mildred Burke.
Mildred
right?
Burke. Yeah.
Who was literally like a champion female wrestler. Like, I've learned so much about her just from reading about this movie, which I haven't seen yet, but like,
oh, I'm so excited.
What an incredible story.
Yeah, she, I mean, I didn't know who she was either. And I think even a lot of the wrestling community didn't know who she was. But as soon as I read her script, I was like, I can't believe this is something I have the honor of getting to tell. Like, it felt like such a disservice. I didn't know who she was. And that was really the catalyst for jumping on board this project. So
that's amazing. Okay, so
you look great.
So do you. So let's go to the beginning with you. Okay, so when did you get Ophelia? I need to know everything about Ophelia, but let's go even before then. I like to ask people like their history of like pets or dogs or whatever it was that made you an animal person.
We grew up in a really animal loving house. My dad is a surgeon, and my grandmother was like this too. She wasn't a doctor, but there were like animals that would like flock to my grandmother's house, like, you know, bunches of raccoons and squirrels would like eat peanuts out of her hand and stuff like that. And they would always, if there was an injured animal, we'd always take them home. And so I have so many stories about, like, we had a turkey in the backyard at one point for no reason, like just showed up. We had a burrowing owl that hid behind our barbecue. My dad picked up a duck off the street and went to the vet and was like, can I do surgery on this duck with you? And then we housed it. And then we had a raccoon in the basement at one point. And all the while we also had like dogs and cats, and I had a gerbil. My brother had hedgehogs.
Hedgehogs.
I had hedgehogs. They were very cool. They were very sweet. They were spiky. And I had this, I think like my first love of a pet was my cat named Miss Kitty. And I think we got her when I was 3 because I begged for her. And she had already had like a litter of kittens. And so my mom always thought that made her really maternal. But if I was crying, she'd like run across the house and like sit on my stomach. And she would lie on my dad's shoulders. And I was always really jealous, like while he walked around, because my shoulders weren't big enough. So when my shoulders got big enough as a teen, I'd like try to put her up there and I'd like just stay really still. And she was like, wow, this isn't the same.
That's so cute.
I got some of it, but she was just like this, I don't know. And I think Opie has like a little bit of Miss Kitty in her. And I just like, maybe, you know. I love that. You never know the soul that you're going to cross paths.
Totally. So Miss Kitty was your first like real, like emotional, like connection to animal. I love that. You know, I've talked to some people about cats, and it's interesting because a lot of them say like, it's kind of been tough to like emotionally connect, but when you do, with a cat. I think because like dogs, you earn that maybe faster or more easily. But with cats, I think sometimes they make you work for it a little bit more. So the reward of like, oh my God, I've created this thing. It feels even different. I love that.
I think that that's true for most dogs. Ophelia, you really have to like earn her.
Okay, good though. That's like
we've had we had family dogs growing up, and we had a little Chihuahua named Peanut Butter, and he lived till he was like 16. 16,
oh, that's so cute.
And then we had we had a rescue named Hannah who lived till she was 12 and a half, and that was really sad when she passed because I think I was 13 or 14, but she was like really my mom's imprint, really. Like she was definitely like a love of my life. But when I now feel Ophelia and I have almost more of a perspective on the animals we were sort of blessed with growing up, I now realize how hard that was for my mom when she passed. And, I was a teen, like I don't know. Things are confusing back then anyway. And, but yeah, really sad, really traumatic when she passed. She was a huge mastiff. I remember when we were like 8 and 9 and we had snow in the backyard, I could jump on her back or like have her pull me on a sled, like not super far, but it was like crazy that she could do that. Like she weighed more than me. She was so big and she loved it. She was just like so fun.
So that was really, really hard on your mom. Yeah. We understand that now.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, we talked about it later in life. Like, I don't think I realized, like, I thought it was hard for all of us, and it was at the time, because that's really like one of the first passings I remember. Because I actually think she might have been the first soul in my life that like left because my grandmother passed after her. So that was like that was like my intro really into like what death is. And it was visual. She was with us, the whole time. We didn't put her down. And, I think that was right for her. But yeah, it's definitely like a part of my psyche and what made me. Sure.
We like carry grief. It's an interesting thing. I feel like when people say, time heals, or like there's some weird idea around like getting over something versus like, no, it sort of just becomes a part of your existence. Like you understanding death or grief or the loss, like a soul leaving, that it was, I think for me, I had similarly, I think I could wrap my head around my grandparent passing because that felt like something people talked about and other people were going through. But when my dog died, it was like something else. It really was. And a real, the conversations around grief and death as far as kids go, I remember that being one of the first ones for sure we had to have in our house.
Yeah.
And it's such a wild, they're our loved ones. So it's a real,
they're not there anymore. And now that I think about it, Miss Kitty had passed beforehand, but I was too young. Like we buried her in the backyard, and a few days later I was like, "Okay, she's cold. Can she come back in now?" Like it didn't work in my brain. Whereas like when Hannah passed, I was like, "Oh, like she's gone."
She's gone.
And I think maybe potentially because we didn't see Miss Kitty die, right? She was sort of outside. As cats are, and we find her and whatnot. She was old. I think she was like 16 or 18.
Wow. For a mastiff?
No, that was Miss Kitty.
Oh, Miss Kitty. Oh.
Hannah was, I think she was 12 and a half. Like she wasn't super old. Like Opie's 13 and a half. I mean, she's
you don't look a day over 5.
For sure.
So
I'm trying to get her in there, but let me know if I'm too blown out.
No, I see her. I see her. Oh my God. It's actually a beautiful shot. Like the sun's coming. Yeah. Hello, baby girl. Oh, look at her paw.
Yeah, we live among the trees, so she's got sap all in them.
Yeah, we get that in the beaches out here, tar. Yeah. There's like a weird tar that kind of like, they get
like,
up in there.
My bed, fun.
Yeah.
I love sleeping in tar.
Exactly. So how did Ophelia come to you?
So I was 19, 20, and I was like, I want a dog. I miss having a dog. I was living alone. I'd lived with roommates before, and I was living alone. And I was like, yeah, I think it's time for you to get a dog. And everyone was like, don't do that. You're crazy. You're 20. Like, live your life.
Oh my God.
And then
So
I was
funny.
just on like the internet, looking for someone to speak to me, really. I wasn't really looking for anything or anyone in particular. And there was a woman over in a suburb here that was bringing dogs over from Delhi, from India. And I saw a picture of, I don't even know if I saw a picture of Opie, to be honest. I was just like, oh, she's got like 6 puppies. They're rescues. That's what I wanted to do. And so I like went over to this house in the middle of so much open land with my friend Emma. And we went on a walk in this open land that this woman had with these 6 puppies, and Ophi like fell in like a little stream. Like, and she was like this big, like they were they were as young as they possibly could be. To sort of have someone take them away at this point. They were already away from their mom because they were found on the street in India, and they're called Desi dogs.
Baby.
Yeah. And she fell in this, and she was like really, and I almost went home with one of her brothers who was like black and white and was like really like rambunctious and like wanted to play with me. And I was like, playing with this other dog. And Ophi was like in my lap sleeping and like shivering a little bit. And my friend Emma was like, no, that one's already chosen you. Like and I just kind of like looked down, and it was like, I didn't even know she was like, it was crazy. Like I didn't even know she was there. And I was like, oh yeah. And
she's mine. Yeah, she picked you.
And she's just like asleep, like,
yeah.
This big.
Isn't it wild how they like pick us? Like
for sure.
Like you've had this, like, you're like, oh, this little boy who's all wild and whatever, but like but she was like, no,
Mama,
it's me. Oh my God. And then began your life with Ophelia. Yeah,
it was snowing. She was like sitting in the back of the car as we drove back to Vancouver. And it was like, and now I had this dog. And I was like, I had some sort of inflammatory reaction at the time that was like making me quite sore and inflamed. And they diagnosed it as fibromyalgia. It's like an autoimmune thing that is kind of diagnosed by elimination. Like we don't really know what it is. I'm not even sure I would really call myself that I had it. But at the time, it was hard for me to like really get out of bed sometimes. And so having her was like a part of that. Like I always talk about how she saved me. And it seems like such a different chapter of my life because it was so intense and kind of like weirdly painful and debilitating, but I could get out and walk her, and it helped everything, like just like having her around was such a big part of being healthy again. And and then
that's really hard, that diagnosis. Like I know people who, as you said, it's almost like a default. Like we sort of lean on that because we can't explain maybe what's going on, but we know it's autoimmune, and it can be very debilitating.
Yeah. And, it's really sparked and this is not everyone's journey, but it really sparked my interest in like health and nutrition and food, which I think, when you look at the big picture, also led me to this past role, led me to like different things in fitness, it's such a part of who I am that everything's kind of a perfect equation, and Ophi totally fits into that, which is so wild. Like,
well, Ophi's like, as you were just saying, like you're walking over, like what they do for us, they get us out of bed. We are outside, we're walking, things that can feel very hard to do, especially when we're not feeling well. They're almost like, come on, mama.
Yeah, come on, mama. And she was like, she's just such a little baby. Like she would just, I don't know. And she was so unique looking. I don't know if that's because of like the red, like I had no idea what she was going to look like. I was like, are you a boxer? Do you have floppy hair? Like you were long, like she's long and tall now. And people are like, whippet, greyhound. And I'm like, maybe, but as a puppy, we were like boxers, staffy. Like you had no idea what this dog was going to grow into. And we couldn't even get like a block down the street. Like everyone would be like, oh my God. Cause she looks you in the eye. Like she's really like emotional and like people motivated. She doesn't love other dogs so much anymore. She's got a couple dog friends, but yeah. Oh, and at the time I was working at a dog daycare and dog apparel shop. So I was able to bring her. And I would open up the dog apparel shop or dog daycare at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and like 40 dogs would come in, like all at,
Oh
like
my God.
literally at the crack of dawn. And Opie would just be like, "Oh no, help!" And and then someone else would come take over, and then I'd go open sort of like the food, apparel, sort of like pet like store. No pets being sold, no dogs being sold, but very
oh my God, how funny.
And I would run my lines. I'd sit behind the counter and run my lines, and she would like sit at my feet. And if another dog came in, she'd go and sniff them, and then she'd come back to me. She'd be like, I don't want to deal with them.
Wait, so you were running lines, so you were acting, but you were running this doggy daycare, working at a doggy daycare.
Yeah, I didn't have a long-term job yet. So I would have gotten Ophi in November, and then the show that kicked everything off for me was Arrow, and I booked one day on Arrow in August the following year. And so, and my boss at the time was like, let me close down the shop for an hour if I had an audition. Like, she was really supportive, but I also think, but as a business owner, you're like, okay, go, but like, please come back. I run a business now, my partner runs businesses. It's like, we want you to have but please come back and run the business because we need you,
Oh my God, that's hilarious. And then how did you know? So you auditioned for Arrow. Mm-hmm. And then what was the process of that while you were still at the doggy daycare?
Yeah, I mean, like it's a crazy story because I went into an audition. I got the call that I was on hold, or I can't even remember. I don't think I did a call back. I don't think it was that, because it was just like, it was 2 scenes in one episode, and they were like, yeah, well, she was great, we'll cast her. So then I, went and filmed one day, and then that was it. And so I was back at the dog shop after filming, having my 15 minutes on Arrow. And then they called back a few episodes later being like, we'd like to bring her back. And then it was episode after episode. And then my boss at the dog toy shop was like, you have to quit.
I'll be like, no, I don't. I can stay. She's like, no, you gotta go.
You can't even be here. Like, not only that, it was longer hours, and you couldn't even show up if you tried. Like, we were, 14-hour days kind of thing right off the get-go. Yeah. Not even if you're in every scene, but like, as a guest star, you're not really, you're not prioritized in a sense either. So you're there to sort of be there when they're ready kind of thing. And so it was taking up a lot of time. I had a car at the time, so we were using car to go, and I couldn't bring Ophi with me either because I was so new. So when second season
stay at the doggy daycare?
Oh no, she did not like.
Oh, right, she doesn't like the dogs. So right.
Well, she doesn't like other dogs now. She just didn't like doggy daycare at the time. She was like, it's too noisy. She's pretty sensitive. She's like me. Like, if it's too noisy or too overstimulating, like, she's out.
Aww. Oh, Opie, I totally understand, and I totally relate.
Me too.
So second season, so now you've left doggy daycare, and what was that? Did you become a regular season 2?
Season 2, yeah, and the job was full time, and really my only question was just like, can I bring my dog? Like,
this is a deal breaker.
Well, I also what's crazy is it's definitely a deal breaker now, but I don't think I had the standing to make anything a deal breaker at the time. I was like, I'm Canadian. I wanted to be an actor my whole life. Like, they're casting a Canadian. Are you crazy? Like, this stuff's unheard of. I mean, people joke about it, but it's unheard of. It's kind of, it's
miraculous in a lot of ways. It's amazing, mm-hmm. But it is also like a testament to your talent and,
Thank you. I do believe in sort of preparation meets opportunity in a way, right? Like you sort of you have to be able to dream the dream, but you have to be able to put it into action. And I think, positive thinking is really great, but what are your positive actions? And so, making that come true for yourself. And that could have come true in a lot of different ways. If it wasn't that show, maybe it would have been something else, who knows? Or a different passion. You never know, right? You just stay open.
Yeah. But you knew where you were being led. So you got, season 2, Ophelia's allowed on set.
She came to work. We had a trailer. She was, set dog for 7 seasons. She was really the only dog around. No one else, it was crazy. No one else had dogs for a long time. And then no one else brought them to work.
Oh, that's so funny.
Right. Well, I think I didn't have a partner who was also her other parent at the time. she was just like a part of me. You know, she would come with me. Katie Lots was on our show for a little bit, and then Opie started coming for a while, but she also wasn't full time on our show, so it was a little different. But she, like, I'd come back to the trailer and Opie be on a walk with somebody, and like she ate, you know, chicken and rice and vegetables for lunch every day. Like, I think potentially why she's so healthy and lived so long is she got really good food for 7 years.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I believe in that. Yeah. I ask a lot of, because I experience this with my dogs and my pets, but like how they change our lives. Like, how does Ophelia, and how has she changed your life for the better, or made your life better, or made you a better person? Like, what does she do? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think there's, especially now that I'm older and she's older, there's definitely like I realized sort of our journey together, and she's my physical clock now, you know, and she's outaged me. Like, I felt like when we were in our 20s, we were kind of the same age, if that makes sense. There was a while there that we were the same age, and now I'm gonna cry. Now I feel like there's this perspective and understanding. You know, she's in the later part of her life, and there's a deeper connection to everything because of her, and how misunderstood, but also how precious time as we define it is here. But there's something that she has taught me, which is like a connection to this like greater unconscious, in a sense. Like, I feel like I will be very sad when we're no longer together in like this realm and whatnot, but I just feel like we're so connected. It's hard for me to even explain. And I wouldn't have said that in my 20s. I would be like, well, I'm not really a parent. I feel like we're sisters, right? Like, we were kind of like together, but like we weren't always on the same level. Like, I wasn't the best, you know, the greatest mom I could have been in my 20s. And looking back, I mean, I think we were like a pair, and now I feel like I'm a mom, if that makes sense.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Especially thinking about having kids and stuff too. Like, she's my baby. Like, I'm seeing all these memes now about, it says like, when someone tells you you didn't birth your dog, and it's like ultrasound pictures and stages, and the last one's your dog.
Yep. I love it too. I love that too. I kind of found when my dog passed away a few years ago, I'm with you in a weird way. It's hard when they leave, but I feel her every day still, even though I have my new soul pup. Like, we are so connected, but I still feel Peanut. I still feel Tristan. I still feel them. You know, it's actually brought peace around the idea of leaving, that whether it's birds, whether it's numbers, whether it's a feather, whether like however you see signs or how you feel messages, like in your world, like I definitely feel her all the time. Obviously, the presence of them leaving is really hard. And it's also, I felt like when Peanut passed, I had to like tell people, not like, I felt like you were saying, you know, she's your baby. And I feel like sometimes I had to say things like, you know, I just need to go grieve for a little while, because I felt like certain people could not understand the magnitude of the loss of this dog, because they had this perspective that like, it's not your child. It's not, you know, and it's like, no, but there are morning, noon, and night. There are loved ones. And so there is that. I relate it to just so much to what you're saying about like, she is your baby. And of course, you know, there will be different relationships with human babies that'll be different from animal babies, but at the same time, there are our soulmates. You know. Yeah.
I think like different souls like touch, you know, you connect with in different ways. And I mean, that's another thing I talk about, like when, say you're in a rush or whatever, and you're at an appointment and you end up talking to someone you're with. I now even have a greater connection to that, because I'm like, oh, you know what? We're in the same space here. We're here to learn something from each other. We're not going to have a deep connection like Ophelia and I do. But Ophelia has taught me that there's connections everywhere, you know? And so, and it takes the rush out of the day. It takes, you know, it just like gives you more presence. Like, you don't even have to try to be present. It just like is there for you. And she, you know, she taught me that. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe there's different strengths to different connections that sort of are the perfect equation for us in a way. And I don't think that changes with death. I guess I don't know.
Right.
But I like the idea that death is a door. It seems to work for me. It seems to make sense in my brain. And as this connection with Ophelia only gets deeper, I can't imagine it ends. It doesn't feel like there's an ending point.
I think it's sort of your relationship to it, as you're saying. So right. Yeah. I love what you said about her. Like, she keeps you present, or naturally, because that's what they ask. I mean, Linus is the same way with me. As you can have the busiest day. He literally is like, he'll swap my phone out of my hand sometimes. He'll just come sit on my lap and I'll be like, and he'll be like, enough of that.
Yeah, please.
Enough of that.
It's not even I can see Opie just like turn, like if I've been on my phone too much that day, like if I pick it up, she just like will just go away. Like I'll be like, oh, like she tells me like without her presence around, she's like, well, you don't, like we're not together, so I'll just leave, kind of thing. And then I'm like,
wow,
oh my God. Like whoa,
right. Like,
and
I can't connect with you right now.
I like, what I like about her is she does enjoy being around. She's like, I like being alone. I like myself. Like so she's like, well, if you're not gonna, I'm gonna go.
I'm over here. I'm gonna go have my alone time then. I'm gonna go have my me time, if you will.
I don't need whoever you are on your phone. Like
exactly. But they remind us that we are different people in those. Our energy can shift like that. I love this. I mean, I love the way that we're like, I've talked about the soul connection with them a little bit on here, but it's nice to like, I relate so much to what you're saying, and I feel the same way around death. And especially I feel like my animals have taught me that, and not out of some convenient way for me to feel okay. Like truly, I truly feel that. You know what I mean?
Interesting. You say like convenient way to feel okay. I was like, I'm not sure it feels okay. Like it's still like really scary and unknown. Right. Like it doesn't, I'm not sure it like brings me peace. It's just like, I know in a way. And or it's just like deeper, like there's no excuse to it. I'm just like, I just have no other way of expressing.
It's a knowing.
Yeah. And I'm not sure, like, that's the other way is like, is it a for sure knowing? No, I couldn't like statistically tell you, or I can't even prove it to you even when all of this happens. But I don't know. There's this life here, I feel like my grandmother will visit me sometimes and that's inexplicable. I'm like, okay, so what else?
Yeah.
How do I stay as open as possible while also getting like what I'm supposed to get out of this life,
I love that. And I love that our animals give us, they bring us into that present. I love everything that I love how we're speaking of Ophelia right now, because it's so much deep. It's so deep. That's what I always say. This is not a pet podcast. I'm like, this is literally about a relationship. It's a relationship podcast. Hello, baby girl. Speaking of.
Totally. Yeah. The most important relationship I think that formed me. I think especially like, I always say like, when I look back at my 20s now, because I'm 33, and I'm like, okay, so like I understand how formative those years are for everyone now. Like 20s they're a big decade. You learn a lot, you grow a lot, you change drastically, you start making, brain patterns that become really who you are in your later life. And things that you want to keep working on about yourself really are the kind of, I feel like they're the formative years in that way.
Yeah.
And she's been around for all of that. And for me, what's scary is that when time changes and she's not here, I guess like I keep changing, right? Like, so that's going to be, I'm going to cry again. She's going to like, it's hard to think about her not being around. I pay a lot of money in therapy for this. Thank goodness for therapy.
Too. Yeah, I do too. Do you have anything around? Are you open to, or like, no, I'm a one dog person, open to another dog? No,
I guess I don't think about it a whole lot. I mean, we've talked about getting a cat because I feel like there's a cat. I mean, I grew up with cats, and there's a part of me that like my partner and I debate, because I'm like, there's a part of me that I want Ophi and this cat to know each other, because Ophi will pass, and I will want this cat to have a little bit of Ophelia in her. And Riley, my partner, is like, I think I want Ophi just to be the star of everything and live out her, life is the way she wants it and that kind of thing, and both are really valid points because, they're just, our life is good and whatnot. But no, I don't know. I think it'll just, it won't even be a choice. I think life will sort of lead in the way it's supposed to. And I probably won't think about it too much.
Yeah.
And my dad has like 4 dogs. My stepsister has 2. My other sister has 1. My brother has 1. My mom has 1. We have like 10 dogs, I think, sometimes at dinner.
Oh my God, that's my heaven. That's like my
that's
favorite.
Like just family. Like people like, okay.
Well, my literal heaven is yes, a gathering and all the dogs are welcome and my dinner companion and okay, I ask everybody this if you're comfortable doing it. Do you have a dog voice? How do you greet Ophelia? Like I have my voice for Linus, but she's like, walking up and she's like, Mama, Mama.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying. My partner really has a voice for her.
What's your partner's voice?
Oh, I'm good. I can't do it. I was like, did you have a good sleepers? Did you go to sleep? I went to the city today and had some good worker. Like it's always an S on the end, and like, and you're gonna have
so cute.
You're gonna sleep. We play a game at night where she gets like really excited. Like she jumps into bed and she lies down, and then we have to convince her to play a game with us where we like hit the bed and she like starts chomping her teeth and starts like every night. We think it's her favorite part of the night, and then she like after it's all done, she's like.
Oh my God, hilarious. Is it like it's her bedtime game?
It's bedtime game, yeah.
I love the bedtime game.
It's all our bedtime game. Like we don't really sometimes like when Riley and I are traveling and she's not with us, we're like, come on, Opie. Just like pretending she's there.
Oh, that's sweet.
I talk to her sort of like, I'm like, good morning. How are you? That's my voice for her.
I love that. I start every episode with like I'll start with this is your dog voice. So that's why. Morning.
How are you, Unconditional?
Oh, I love that. Thank you for doing that. That's so sweet. I also ask everyone, and I don't want to ever put anyone on the spot, but like if Ophelia had an occupation in the world, what do you think her occupation would be?
She was an insane runner. Like, she was I think she's got Greyhound in her, right? And so she would run loops. So I could see her being like, maybe like an Olympian.
Oh, hell yeah.
No, or like a coach. I could also see her being like a pretty hardcore coach.
Ophelia's definitely like a really like hammer down coach. Yes. I love that. Like a track coach.
Yeah, maybe like a track coach, but then like also she like, she likes her alone time. She's very food motivated. So that feels like runner to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that totally feels runner. But it also sounds a little bit like, I mean, sort of what you were describing, even about like your health, like being like super into food and like being healthy and nutrition and all of that. And I'm, maybe you all have a little like, similar. She's like picking up on Mama a little bit. Yeah.
I'm going to see, did you read the Forever Dog book?
No.
Oh, you're going to love it.
I need this book. What is this? What is this book? The
Forever Dog? Them on your podcast, actually. They are a vet and a research scientist. I think he's a research civilian kind of thing. Like he's like, I'm just very fascinated and whatnot. And anyway, their whole book is like based off of dog nutrition and living sort of like for dogs and cats, but it's called
I see. Dog. Okay. Is it this one?
Let's see. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna get it.
Who wrote it?
This one is Rodney Habib and Karen Shaw Becker. Is that right?
Yeah,
okay.
That's the one, yeah. My cover was a little different, but they're really big into sort of, nutrition from the ground up. And that is like something definitely I'm, really, really dedicated towards. Like when I talked about the fibromyalgia, I'm like, I think like changing your diet really does change a lot of your life. Maybe not everything for everyone, but like we could really change how we live our lives just from food. And so I've done that for Ophi as well. And I'm seeing a new sort of professional tomorrow just to kind of dial in like what her food is. Cause she gets like a ton of stuff like, sardines and eggs and the egg.
Do you make it?
I don't make everything. I think it's a little out of my scope time wise to make everything, but she definitely gets like a lot of toppers on her food and she eats like a lot of organ treats and that kind of thing.
Wow. I love this.
I think it's really changed, especially her later years. Cause when she was younger, that's not what we were focused on and, not what I was focused on either. So she got vestibular disease earlier this year. I think like for anyone who has an older dog, it looks like they've taken methamphetamines. Like it looks really scary. And so, we live somewhere where we don't have a vet on Sundays. So I had to like take her like a few hours away to an emergency call. And she looks like very horrible. I didn't have any access to like what was happening to her and couldn't use her legs. Her eyes were shaking back and forth and that kind of thing. Anyway, it's like doggy vertigo.
Yeah, it is when I had that happen with two of my older dogs. It is so scary when it happens. Come here, puppy. You want to go say hi? Come on, oh, now you're getting my dog
sticks around for a while, but when I started putting her on like more oil-based stuff for cognition and things like that, like MCT oil and sardines and like her, like she's like a puppy again.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I want to get him. Hey, bub, come here, baby. Oh, he was about to leave. He's like, really? I'm like on my heating pad right now.
Yeah, you're gonna put me on screen again, Mom?
And he's like, I've just been having
Oh my gosh, are you cute? Oh, he's a little Boston Cross.
He looks like a lot of people thought Boston. He's actually his DNA test, and I took two of them because I didn't believe the first one. It's exactly the same. Poodle, Chihuahua, and American Bully.
I see Chihuahua.
I see the Chihuahua. I thought Jack Russell. I thought
maybe Jack
Boston,
Russell.
But also the greatest. Okay, here, buddy.
Yeah, I've never had Opie's DNA done. I mean, I guess I'm interested. I guess I just don't really. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, the dogs that come out of Delhi like kind of all look like her, so it'd be interesting to see what they are.
I just learned recently they can be impregnated by multiple breeds and one litter. Did you know this? So dogs can be in heat, and the female dog, and then they can be mated with multiple. So they could have a litter of those three different versions. It can be a blend, but it can also be like, my friend we just discovered this because my friend rescued she's fostering a mama and her babies. And we were like, this doesn't make sense. And then they were like, no, they can have multiple in the same litter, multiple,
I have to like check out how this happens because I'm like, my brain is breaking. Like everything, all the little information I know about.
Yeah, isn't it crazy though?
Alone.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, my brain is like, oh my gosh, they have like 8 stomachs, like a cow. Something is happening that I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. It's true though. They're literally like, I was like, how is this possible? So apparently, Linus's mama, it was either a blend of all. He's a little Pomeranian and a little Pekingese, but like I've learned this, and then I was like, that's not true, and then I was like, oh no, it's totally true. So isn't that crazy?
That like really, all my questions about crossbreeding have just doubled.
I know, Ophelia. Oh my goodness.
Her gray face.
We could, if you wanted to shift into a little me time, but is there anything else you want to talk about with Ophelia or around Ophelia? Or anything else you want to share about her, about your relationship with her?
Oh man.
You're like, this was beautiful. So I'm not saying we have to add more. I'm just saying I always like to give people, if there's anything like else you would want to share, I want people to know about Ophelia or about your relationship.
She's a little sweetie. She's like, she just really changed my life. And like when Riley, my partner, came into our lives, I feel like he accentuated kind of what she was missing too. Like I said to him about it, a couple years in our relationship, I was like, it's occurred to me that I think Ophi and I had never met before, if you believe in this kind of stuff, or if you have even an inkling, like say, even if I'm just hypothesizing, like say this is true. But I have a feeling you two had met before, which is kind of like wild to think about, because there's just something so similar about them that I felt like Ophi was missing, maybe with just having me as her parent.
What is it? What is the difference?
I don't really know. I mean, you know, maybe just like, I don't know. It's just, there's just something, you know, maybe like like I said, like we kind of grew up together. Like we have a pattern of like working and going places together, and like, you know, sort of calm cuddles. And then I think Riley comes in and he's fun and energetic and like maybe more playful, and does kind of like, you know, like all of a sudden it's like, let's get in the car. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, okay.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Like, nowhere. Okay.
They were like playmates or something, like
Yeah,
and that's fun. I love that. That's really sweet. Isn't it funny when we can feel that? It's like we're definitely on our first go around here, but like these two over here they've had some history. I think we can always feel that. I really do. Yeah. You know, when you feel, I mean, have you listened to the telepathy tapes, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Not that's totally connected to that, but I just this knowing that we have. Yeah.
There's definitely something in there. And my mom's big into that, and she was telling me, I don't know what the study is, but somewhere in India they were having kids be able to read blind. Have you seen this? Like cover their eyes, never seen the book before, and they can read you what's on the book. Yeah. And they're speaking, not non-speakers. And so I was like, okay, like we're getting into something here. So like we're talking about, you know, almost like working a muscle and being cut off to something for so long. Like there's just stuff to be interested in.
There's so much stuff. Like there's so much stuff.
Yourself from anything. It's only a disservice.
And I know. And I feel like animals know. Like they know all this shit. We're the ones that have come along to sort of like put all the blocks in place. And anyway, hi, Ophelia.
You see that?
I have to ask the name. Where did the name come from?
I don't know.
You were okay.
I definitely wanted something like in the actor world. I think I was studying Shakespeare at the time, but like I definitely didn't connect the character from Shakespeare with Ophelia to her. I think I just really liked the way it sounded. And I actually call her Oph and Opie a lot, which she is kind of dorky. So there's like this, she really is like this like, beautiful specimen. Like she's gorgeous, and she's very delicate and feminine and all that stuff. But then she's like a total dork. So it just really worked. You have like Ophelia like on paper, and then you see her at home and she's like, Oph. You know?
It's perfect.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you all so much for listening. Please follow us on our Instagram at unconditionalpod, and also check out our YouTube at unconditionalpod. All right. Thank you all so much. We'll be back next week.